The stars over the frontier shone quietly, but silence in space often hid danger. For the human colonies spread across the edge of known space, danger had come wearing the banner of the Dravari Dominion. The Dravari were not new to war. For centuries they had expanded across systems, enslaving weaker species and crushing rivals. To them, humanity was only another young race, bold but untested and easy to break. The first attacks came suddenly. Outlying mining colonies were struck by fast Dominion raiding fleets. In a matter of hours, entire worlds were left in flames, their defenses torn apart. The humans stationed there fought bravely, but their ships were older, smaller, and too few. The Dominion commanders laughed as they broadcast their victories, calling humanity a short-lived species trying to act like giants. At first, Earth and the central colonies believed the frontier defenses could hold. Messages poured in from the edge, filled with reports of fighting, but officials thought reinforcements would arrive in time. They did not. The Dominion struck harder, moving from raids to full assaults. They targeted food supply stations, fuel depots, and communication hubs. Slowly, human fleets became blind and scattered. In the colony of Prime, the largest outer world, millions of citizens gathered in shelters as Dominion warships rained fire from orbit. Captain Elias Ward, commanding the defense fleet, tried everything to protect the planet. His ships were fewer than half the enemy's, and their weapons struggled to pierce Dominion shields. Still, they fought on, refusing to surrender. Ward's flagship, the Resolute, destroyed 7 enemy cruisers before being surrounded. His last message to Earth was short but clear: "We are not beaten. Not yet." The Dominion admired his courage but dismissed it as foolish. To them, humanity was like a fire burning too brightly, soon to be extinguished. After Prime fell, the Dominion fleet swept further in, taking colony after colony. Refugees fled where they could, but many were left behind. The Dominion broadcast images of captured cities and destroyed fleets across the galaxy, declaring their triumph. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, other alien powers watched. Many shook their heads. Some pitied the humans, but most mocked them. Humanity, they said, had grown too fast. In less than 2 centuries, they had colonized dozens of worlds, built trade routes, and claimed to be equal among the stars. Now they were being reminded of their place. The council chambers echoed with laughter when the Dominion's ambassadors declared humanity finished. But not everyone laughed. A few voices whispered warnings. The human spirit, they said, was not easy to measure. Humanity came from a harsh world, a place called Earth where they had faced ice ages, storms, and endless wars among themselves. They had survived every challenge their own planet had thrown at them. Perhaps, some wondered, this defeat was not the end. Perhaps it was only the beginning of something greater. Still, the council dismissed such thoughts. The Dominion's victories looked final. From the outside, humanity seemed broken. Colonies burned, fleets shattered, leaders silent. The galaxy turned its eyes away, preparing to move on. On the colony of Halvarus, a young mechanic named Tessa Marlowe watched the skies darken as Dominion ships blockaded her world. She had never held a weapon in her life, but she refused to leave her workshop. She kept repairing shuttles and escape craft, sending families away under the enemy's nose. "If humanity falls," she said, "we will fall fighting." Across the colonies, countless others thought the same. Miners, farmers, engineers, ordinary people who refused to surrender their spirit. Yet no matter how strong the spirit, the Dominion's fleets kept advancing. They had numbers, technology, and experience. Humanity could not match them, not yet. Each new defeat added to the Dominion's pride. They celebrated in grand halls, drinking and boasting of their easy conquest. They called humanity's ships toys and their fleets paper walls. Still, there was something strange. Earth remained quiet. No desperate pleas came from its leaders. No ambassadors begged for peace. The Dominion noticed this silence but did not fear it. They believed humans were simply too proud to admit defeat. "Let them stay silent," said Lord Commander Zerath, the Dominion war leader. "Their silence is the sound of their death." But far from the burning colonies, deep within the Sol system, humanity's true heart remained untouched. Refugees whispered that Earth was not mourning, it was preparing. Rumors spread of shipyards hidden in asteroid belts, of massive construction projects kept secret from the galaxy. Some dismissed these tales as wishful thinking. Others clung to them like lifelines. In the last days of the outer colonies, a single refugee ship broke through the Dominion blockade and reached neutral space. Its passengers, weary and broken, carried a message to anyone who would listen. The enemy thinks we are finished. They do not understand us. Humanity is not finished. Humanity is waiting. The galaxy ignored them. The Dominion celebrated again, hosting a grand victory parade on their capital world. Fireworks lit the skies and soldiers marched with banners taken from human colonies. To them the war was over. Humanity had been crushed. But out beyond their sight, in the dark of space, something vast was stirring. Humanity had lost the first battles, yes, but the war, humanity's war, had not even begun. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was alive with noise. Species from every corner of known space filled the rows of seats, their voices buzzing with excitement. Holographic banners of the Dravari Dominion's victories floated high above the chamber, showing images of burning human colonies and captured fleets. The Dominion's ambassador, a tall figure draped in silver armor, stood proudly at the center podium. His voice echoed through the hall as he declared, "The human experiment is finished. Their colonies fall like brittle glass. Their fleets scatter like frightened insects. Soon their homeworld will kneel, and this young race will fade into memory." Laughter rolled through the chamber. Many alien delegates clapped their clawed hands, waved their tendrils, or shouted their approval. The council often hid its true feelings behind formal words, but this time there was no need. To most of them, humanity's defeat was amusing. The Veyari, a bird-like species with sharp voices, mocked the humans for their ambition. "They thought they could rise so quickly," one delegate said, his wings twitching. "They colonized, they traded, they spoke boldly in this very hall. And now look at them, dust on the wind." The Thrin-scaled reptilian beings rumbled in agreement. The Dravari have done the galaxy a service. Humanity's pride was dangerous. Better to cut it down before it spread further. Even the cautious Meritans, who often stayed neutral, joined the mockery. "Humans asked for a seat among equals," their delegate sneered. "But they brought no power, no fleets of worth. They dreamed too high. Now they fall." The council chamber filled with noise again, laughter and jeers bouncing off the tall crystal walls. Yet in one corner of the chamber, not everyone joined in. The Zerath, a quiet aquatic race, watched in silence. Their delegate, High Speaker Elra, leaned toward her aides and whispered, "Be careful. Humans are not as simple as they appear. A race does not rise so fast without reason." Her aides looked uncertain, but she said no more. The Dominion's ambassador smiled as if the entire galaxy now belonged to his people. "We offer peace to all who remain wise," he said. "The humans will be removed, their lands taken. Let none waste pity on them. Their silence proves their surrender." That silence was strange indeed. For weeks, Earth had sent no ambassadors, no messages, no desperate pleas for help. Humanity had once filled the council chamber with loud voices, challenging old powers and demanding fair trade. Now, nothing. Not a whisper from Sol. Some believed humanity was finished. Others thought they were too ashamed to appear. But a few, very few, wondered if silence meant something else. In a private hall after the meeting, several delegates spoke quietly. The Erendai, tall crystalline beings, turned to the Zerath speaker. "Do you truly believe humans have some hidden strength?" they asked. Elra's eyes glimmered. "I believe they are a DEATHWORLD species," she said, "born on a planet that should have broken them. Yet they thrived. Such a race does not vanish so easily." The Erendai frowned. "And yet the Dominion crushes them." "For now," Elra answered. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, news of humanity's collapse spread quickly. On neutral trade worlds, merchants shook their heads and said it was only a matter of time. On Dominion-controlled stations, soldiers bragged about how many humans they had defeated. The words "human weakness" became a common phrase in council gossip. But among the refugees fleeing from the outer colonies, a different story spread. In secret whispers, they told of captains who refused to surrender, of citizens who resisted occupation, of engineers who repaired ships even as enemy fire rained down. These stories were ignored by the council, but they spread like sparks through the lower halls of space stations. In the council chamber, however, only one story mattered: the Dominion's triumph. Another session was held, and once again the chamber filled with speeches. This time the Dominion's warlord, Lord Commander Zerath himself, addressed the council through a massive hologram. His armored figure towered over the chamber, his voice booming like thunder. "Behold the fate of humanity," he declared. Behind him, hollow images showed the ruins of human colonies, shattered fleets, and captured prisoners. "They are finished. Their silence proves their weakness. Their worlds are ours." The council erupted in cheers and approval. Some delegates bowed their heads, others raised their voices in celebration. Many believed the galaxy had just witnessed the end of a rival power. Yet in that same moment, far away in the Sol system, humans were not celebrating. They were not weeping either. They were working. Deep in the asteroid belts, hidden shipyards pulsed with light as giant frames took shape. Massive construction crews moved tirelessly, assembling something the galaxy had never seen. While the council laughed, humanity prepared in silence. Back in the council chamber, one final debate broke out. A small group of delegates urged caution. "If the humans are truly finished, why is Earth silent?" asked a Valkyrie delegate, a wolf-like being known for sharp instincts. "Why have we not seen their surrender? Their leaders should be begging." "But we hear nothing," the Dominion's ambassador sneered. "Silence is proof of fear. They know they are beaten. Why waste words when their fleets are ash?" The chamber laughed again. But the Valkyrie did not. His instincts told him something was wrong, something hidden beneath the quiet. Still, he kept his doubts to himself. The session ended with loud celebration. The Dominion's power seemed unstoppable. Humanity seemed erased. The Council's laughter echoed across the galaxy. But history has a way of turning laughter into silence. And in the shadows of Sol, the future of humanity was taking shape, vast, patient, and waiting for the right moment to rise. The Council did not see it. The Dominion did not believe it. But soon the galaxy would. The Sol system looked quiet from the outside. Ships still moved between Earth, Mars, and the moons of Jupiter, carrying supplies, minerals, and workers. To the untrained eye, life seemed normal. Yet beneath the surface, something far greater stirred in silence. For decades, humanity had planned in secret. After first contact with other species, human leaders quickly learned that the galaxy was a dangerous place. Old empires ruled with iron fists, and wars were fought with fleets larger than any Earth had ever seen. Humanity had smiled, traded, and pretended to be weak. But behind closed doors, they built something the galaxy could not imagine. In the asteroid belts of Jupiter and Saturn, enormous shipyards stretched for hundreds of kilometers, hidden by false signals and energy fields. Miners thought they were digging for rare ores, but most of their work went into feeding these hidden factories. Engineers and workers swore oaths of silence. Even the Galactic Council had no clue. Here in the shadows, humanity built its dreadnoughts. These were not ordinary warships. Each dreadnought was larger than a city, so massive that smaller ships could land directly on their hulls. They carried weapons no one had yet seen: graviton cannons, rail systems the size of mountains and shielding that bent space itself. Each one was a moving fortress, built not just to fight, but to dominate entire fleets. At Luna Base, the command hub for the secret fleet, Admiral Rowan stood before a projection of the Sol system. Around him, officers from every surviving human fleet gathered. Their faces carried the weight of recent defeats, but also a hard light of determination. "The Dominion believes us broken," Rowan said. His voice was calm, steady. "They think our silence means surrender. They do not understand what we have prepared." He turned the projection, and the image shifted to reveal the colossal forms of the dreadnoughts under construction. Gasps filled the room. Even from officers who had served for decades. Some had heard rumors, but very few had seen the truth with their own eyes. Rowan pointed at the largest one. "This is the Titan, first of her class. She is nearly complete. 4 others stand behind her, and more will follow. These ships are our answer. These ships are humanity's future." One officer, Commander Lyra Hahn, frowned. "But sir, the Council, the galaxy, if they see these, won't they call us a threat?" Rowan's eyes narrowed. "They already call us weak. They already laugh at us. Better to be feared than mocked. The Dominion wanted war. They will see war." The room fell silent. Every officer understood. Humanity had been pushed to the edge. Now it would push back. On Earth itself, factories worked day and night, building smaller vessels to escort the dreadnoughts. Citizens rationed supplies without complaint, for they knew the truth. Survival depended on these hidden giants. Families on Mars and the outer colonies sent their sons and daughters to join the crews. No one asked for reward. Everyone wanted the same thing: vengeance for the fallen and freedom for the living. Still, the Dreadnoughts were not yet ready. The Dominion pressed deeper into human space, thinking the war nearly over. Time was short. Every hour counted. In a dimly lit chamber beneath the mountains of Earth, the Defense Council of Humanity met. Leaders from Earth, Mars, Luna, and the surviving colonies sat around a round table. On the wall behind them hung the old Earth flag and the newer symbol of the colonies, a star within a ring. Chairwoman Ilara Vance spoke firmly. "We cannot reveal the Dreadnoughts too soon. If the Dominion learns, they will throw everything at us before we are ready. But if we wait too long, we risk losing more colonies." Admiral Rowan nodded. "The first 3 Dreadnoughts will be battle-ready in 2 months. We must hold the line until then. Once they move, the galaxy will never see us the same way again." A scientist, Dr. Malik Reyes, adjusted his glasses. "You must understand, these ships are not only large, they change the very rules of war. Their reactors bend gravity fields. Their weapons can pierce shields the Dominion believes unbreakable. Once we reveal them, there will be no turning back. The galaxy will fear us." The council members exchanged glances. Fear was not what they wanted, but survival demanded it. Humanity had no choice. While leaders planned, workers toiled. In the frozen dark of Saturn's moon Enceladus, teams fitted armor plates onto the hull of the Titan. The plates were thicker than city blocks, forged from metals mined from asteroids that no alien ship had dared touch. Inside the Dreadnought, corridors stretched for kilometers. Thousands of crew quarters lined the decks. Entire command stations hummed with power. It was not just a warship, it was a city of war, carrying enough firepower to challenge empires. Young Ensign David Rourke walked the unfinished halls with wide eyes. He had grown up hearing stories of human defeats, of colonies burning. Now, standing inside the Titan, he felt something else: hope. If the Dominion could see this, he whispered to himself, they would not laugh. As the work continued, rumors spread among the human population. Refugees arriving from fallen colonies whispered of a secret weapon being built in Sol. Merchants overheard strange convoys vanishing into asteroid belts. The whispers grew, but Earth stayed silent. The Dominion noticed, of course. Scouts probed the edges of Sol, but none returned. Strange signals scrambled their sensors. Reports reached Lord Commander Xerath, but he dismissed them. "The humans hide like cowards," he growled. "Their silence is their shame. When we march on Earth, they will kneel." He did not know that every day brought humanity closer to unleashing the Dreadnoughts. Back on Luna Base, Admiral Rowan spoke once more to his gathered officers. "When the time comes, there will be no mercy. The Dominion burned our worlds. They mocked us before the galaxy. Now we will show them what humanity truly is." His words spread through the ranks like fire. Soldiers, engineers, and citizens alike carried them in their hearts. Humanity had been mocked, beaten, and pushed aside. But in the shadows of Sol, the greatest fleet ever built by human hands was almost ready. The galaxy still laughed. The Dominion still celebrated. The Council still ignored the silence. But soon, very soon, the silence would break, and when it did, the stars themselves would tremble. The Dominion fleet glided through space like a storm. Thousands of ships, destroyers, cruisers, and carriers surrounded the trade world of Corial, a neutral hub known across the galaxy. The Dominion wanted to make an example. They had defeated humanity's colonies, broken their fleets, and now they would show all species what happened to those who resisted their power. On the surface of Corial, millions of civilians from dozens of species watched the skies darken as warships blotted out the stars. Traders, merchants, and travelers froze in fear. The Dominion was not here for trade. They were here to boast. From his command ship, Lord Commander Xerath opened a broadcast to the galaxy. His armored figure filled every screen, every channel. His voice thundered with pride. "Let all who watch remember this day. Humanity is finished. Their colonies burn. Their fleets lie in ruin. And soon their homeworld will bow before us. This is the fate of those who defy the Dominion." Around the galaxy, countless eyes watched. In the chambers of the Galactic Council, delegates nodded with approval. Some cheered. The laughter that had echoed in earlier meetings now grew even louder. Humanity's silence was seen as proof of surrender. But far away in the Sol system, humanity had been waiting for this moment. Admiral Rowan stood at the center of Luna Base's command deck, eyes fixed on the holographic projection. The Dominion's fleet was on display, their arrogance blinding them. His officers waited for the signal. "This is the moment," Rowan said quietly. "We strike now." Across hidden channels the order went out. Small human strike fleets, the last remnants of the outer defenses, emerged from hidden jump points near Corial. They were battered, scarred ships, old cruisers and frigates that looked no match for the Dominion armada. On Corial's surface, people gasped as human ships appeared, their hulls glowing with re-entry flames. Some cheered, others shook their heads. The humans looked desperate, like children standing against giants. The Dominion laughed. Lord Commander Xyrath's grin widened. "So they crawl out of hiding for one final stand. Pathetic." He raised his clawed hand. "Crush them, and this once and for all." The Dominion fleet surged forward, energy weapons lighting the void. Human ships dodged and fought, striking with everything they had. Explosions blossomed like stars, and one by one the smaller human vessels began to fall. But then, space rippled. At first it looked like a distortion, a shimmer in the stars. Dominion captains frowned, adjusting their sensors. Something massive was coming, something that bent gravity itself. And then the first dreadnought arrived. The Titan emerged from slip space in a blaze of light, so enormous that it dwarfed everything around it. Its hull stretched for kilometers, armored plates glinting like a moving mountain. Shadows fell across the battlefield as the dreadnought slowly turned, weapons glowing with power. Gasps echoed across the galaxy. On Corial's surface, civilians fell silent. In the council chamber, laughter turned to stunned silence. Even the Dominion captains froze, their confidence shaken. Xyrath's eyes widened. "What is that?" he hissed. The answer came quickly. The Titan's main cannon fired. A beam of energy brighter than a sun cut through space. In an instant, 3 Dominion cruisers vanished, reduced to fragments and fire. The battlefield erupted. Human strike ships cheered across the channels as the dreadnought moved forward, its weapons tearing through the Dominion lines. Smaller ships tried to swarm it, but the Titan's shields bent space itself, scattering their shots harmlessly. Rail slugs the size of skyscrapers ripped enemy carriers apart. Gravity lances crushed destroyers into twisted metal. The Dominion had never seen such power. Their fleets had faced resistance before, but nothing like this. Against the dreadnought, their numbers meant nothing. On Luna Base, Admiral Rowan watched the feed with steady eyes. "The time for silence is over," he said. He sent a single message across all frequencies. "This war is not over. Humanity has returned." More ripples appeared in space. The Goliath and the Leviathan, sister ships of the Titan, emerged from the void. Their arrival turned the battlefield into chaos. The Dominion fleet, once so confident, now stumbled in fear. "Impossible," Xyrath roared. "No race could build such ships." But the truth was before him. Humanity had built them. Humanity had waited. Humanity had endured. On Corial, crowds erupted in cheers as they watched the impossible unfold. For the first time, they saw humans not as victims, but as giants rising from the ashes. The Dominion tried to regroup, commanders shouting orders, but dreadnought fire tore through their formations. Battleships crumbled. Carriers exploded. The proud Dominion fleet began to break. Across the galaxy, the council chambers filled with shocked voices. Some whispered in fear, others demanded answers. How had humanity built such monsters in secret? How had they hidden such power? High Speaker Elra of the Zerath watched with calm eyes. She remembered her warning. Now the galaxy understood. Back in the battle, Xyrath refused to retreat. His pride would not allow it. He launched his flagship straight at the Titan, weapons blazing. For a moment, the sky lit with fire as the 2 giants exchanged blows. Then the Titan's secondary batteries opened. Dozens of precision strikes pierced the Dominion flagship's shields. The massive ship shuddered, broke apart, and exploded in a blaze brighter than the moons of Corial. Lord Commander Xyrath's last roar echoed into silence. The Dominion fleet, leaderless and broken, began to scatter. Some ships fled, others surrendered, and many were destroyed where they stood. The battlefield belonged to humanity. On the surface of Corial, civilians wept with relief. On Earth, bells rang in secret celebration. Across the colonies, refugees who had lost everything now felt hope. The trap had been sprung. The Dominion, drunk on its victories, had walked straight into humanity's waiting jaws. The galaxy had laughed at humanity's silence. Now that silence had become a roar, and in that roar the future of the stars began to change. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Silence that once marked humanity's defeat had been replaced by a roar that shook star systems. The Dreadnoughts, massive as moons, moved like unstoppable mountains through the Dominion's shattered fleets. The ship's weapons blazed across space, and one by one, the Dominion's forces crumbled. On Coriol, survivors looked up at the sky in awe. For years they had feared human weakness. They had watched colonies burn and fleets fall. But now they saw humanity's true face. The massive ships gleaming under distant suns were not just machines, they were symbols. Symbols of patience, endurance, and a power the galaxy had never anticipated. High above the planet, the Titan hovered like a silent guardian. Its graviton cannons, glowing with immense energy, pulsed as if alive. Beside it, the Goliath and the Leviathan formed a formation that no enemy could break. Smaller human strike ships flitted between them, harrying retreating Dominion vessels. Every maneuver was precise, every shot lethal. Admiral Rowan watched the holographic battle feed from Luna Base. He had commanded fleets in the past, but nothing compared to this. "Hold your positions," he ordered his officers. "Do not let arrogance or fear guide you. Today we show the galaxy who we truly are." Commander Lyra Han, stationed aboard the Leviathan, responded with a nod. Her voice, calm yet firm, carried over the communication channels. "All systems ready. Dominion forces are disoriented. We maintain the offensive." The Dominion for the first time felt fear. Lord Commander Zyrath was gone, his flagship destroyed by the Titan. Without his command, the remaining fleet floundered. Some tried to flee. Others attempted to regroup, only to be annihilated by the Dreadnoughts' overwhelming firepower. Across the galaxy, the news spread fast. Messages and transmissions from trade worlds, neutral planets, and refugee colonies were filled with disbelief. "The humans have returned," one broadcast declared. "They are not the weak species we thought them to be. They are unstoppable." Even the Galactic Council, which had once mocked humanity's defeat, was stunned. Delegates gaped at reports from Coriol and the outer colonies. Images of colossal dreadnoughts destroying Dominion fleets circulated through Council networks. The laughter that had once filled the halls now fell silent. High Speaker Elra of the Zerath was the first to speak. Her voice, calm but filled with weight, carried through the council chambers. "The humans have revealed their strength," she said. "We underestimated them. We must rethink our stance." Other delegates nodded, but many struggled to believe it. "How could a race nearly crushed rebuild such power in secret?" asked a Vayari counselor, still shocked by the visuals. "They must have had help. They did it themselves," Elra replied quietly. "A species born on a harsh world, forced to endure every trial, does not need help to become formidable." Meanwhile, humanity's forces did not pause. The Dreadnoughts carved a path through the Dominion remnants, reclaiming systems and protecting colonies from further attack. On the surface of Coriol, people looked up as smaller human ships evacuated civilians and entire fleets escorted refugees to safety. Humanity was not just winning battles, they were saving lives. On Luna Base, Admiral Rowan reviewed the reports. "Every system we liberate strengthens us," he said. "Every Dominion fleet we destroy weakens them. But we must remain disciplined. The Council and other species are watching. We must show restraint even in victory." The human strategy was more than just brute force. Each dreadnought carried command centers, intelligence units, and fleets of smaller ships that could strike quickly at weak points. Humanity's victories were precise, calculated, and devastating. No one had ever planned a counterstrike with such patience and scale. Back on Coriol, reporters from other worlds sent live transmissions across the galaxy. "Citizens of the galaxy," one broadcaster said, voice trembling with awe. "What you see is not just warships. This is humanity's legacy. After years of defeat and mockery, they have returned stronger than any power has seen. The Dominion no longer rules. They retreat in fear." Even ordinary people in the Dominion's home systems began to doubt their leaders. Rumors of unstoppable human warships spread like wildfire. Soldiers whispered about ships that dwarfed their own, weapons that destroyed fleets with a single blast, and shields that made the strongest guns useless. Confidence turned into fear, and arrogance melted into panic. In the midst of this, humanity did not seek revenge for its fallen colonies. They did not broadcast threats or demands. Instead, they focused on the mission, saving civilians, reclaiming lost systems, and restoring balance. This restraint impressed the galaxy even more. Humanity's strength was not only in their weapons, It was in their discipline, courage, and compassion. Commander Lyra Han watched from the Leviathan as Dominion ships tried to escape. "They thought they could destroy us," she said quietly to her crew. "They never imagined we would survive, let alone return stronger." Her words were echoed across human ships. Every crew member felt it. The fire of survival, the determination to protect what remained, and the pride in being human. For decades, humanity had been underestimated, mocked, and beaten. Now the galaxy could see the truth. Humanity was not weak, and it never would be. Admiral Rowan sent another message, this time to all humans in the galaxy. "We were defeated, but we endured. We were mocked, but we survived. Humanity rises, and the galaxy will never underestimate us again." The message traveled instantly across faster-than-light channels, reaching every human outpost, every surviving colony. The response was overwhelming. Hope spread, courage surged, and humanity's morale soared higher than ever before. The Dominion's fleets continued to crumble. Some ships surrendered, sending messages of truce. Others fled toward unknown sectors, hoping to hide. But humanity pursued only where necessary, careful to avoid unnecessary destruction. Even the Galactic Council, now watching closely, could not deny the competence and restraint of humanity's forces. In the council chamber, delegates whispered in disbelief. "They were crushed," one said. We all laughed at them. "Yes," another replied. "And now we see how wrong we were. They are no longer weak. They are the ones who hold power." High Speaker Elra rose again, her voice firm. "The galaxy must understand this. Humanity is a force unlike any other. We cannot ignore them, nor should we try to challenge them lightly. They have proven themselves." The Council, which had once dismissed humanity as a minor player, now began discussions in a new tone, one of respect, caution, and fear. They had laughed, and now they watched in stunned silence. Meanwhile, on Corial, Admiral Rowan gave the final orders for the day. "Humanity's victory today is a message," he said. "Not just to the Dominion, but to the galaxy. We will protect our people, we will reclaim our colonies, and we will show the stars that humanity survives and thrives against all odds." As the Dreadnoughts and their fleets prepared to withdraw from Corial's orbit, civilians and refugees looked up at the massive ships, awestruck. Children pointed at the sky, their voices filled with wonder. "They are giants," one whispered. "They are humans." And in that quiet moment, humanity's legacy became clear. It was not just about power. It was about endurance, courage, and the unbroken spirit of a species that refused to be defeated. The galaxy held its breath, realizing for the first time that humans were no longer the underdogs. They were a new kind of force, calculated, disciplined, and unstoppable when provoked. The Dominion had celebrated their victory too early. They had mocked humanity, ignored warnings, and underestimated the unyielding spirit of a species forged on a harsh, relentless world. Now, as the Dreadnoughts moved silently through space, a single truth became undeniable. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had returned not as victims, not as pretenders, but as masters of their fate, and no power, no empire would ever take them lightly again.